Hey, hello, Bicmex here. I'm just gonna go over all the changes for the next patch, because there kinda are a lot of things that are happening. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there are some changes, so I'm just gonna go over everything, just so you don't end up confused. So, first of all, one of the changes is the buffed Kindling flare. Before, this was an actual useless talent, and now it makes your flare 50% bigger. So here's a before and after. So here is a before. That's how big it is. And here is a after. Whoa! That's like 50% bigger. That's kinda massive. So I think it might be like a okay-ish talent to pick up. Maybe not the best thing of all time. Listen up. It might not be the best, but it's playable, I guess. Next up, we have a Territorial Instincts buff, which is actually kinda sort of something. Before, this was a 5-second CDR on the Intimidation, whereas now it's 10 seconds. And the thing is, like, you might not think that this actually matters at all, but it actually kinda sort of does. Let me show you. So let's say you open up the game with like an Intimidation, and then you do a trap, and then now you do Binding Shot into trap, and now you can see how this lines up like a little bit, you know? You see how it kind of lines up? Now there was like a little bit of a gap because I'm a little bit of a noob. But do you see how this kind of lines up very well? So now you can do like your first go, and then if you immediately do a second go on DR, then now you could just do your third go off DR as well. Bam! And then this lines up perfectly as well now. God damn, so you can do like go after go after go after go. So as long as you play like on DR, this talent is actually pretty good, pretty decent. So big fan. I think it's probably gonna be like one of those talents that you kind of just always take, because the way that the hunter talents work is that you will just have 2 talents over here. Now there are 4 viable options, right? You have Kodo Tranquilizer for the AoE purge. You will then have 10 seconds of intimidation. This is like on average maybe 3 to 5 seconds of intimidation and binding shot. And then you have binding shackles, which is like damage reduction and stuff. But I think one of the better ones here would be Territorial Instincts. And then the second one would just like depend on what you're against. So like into Resto Druids, this is obviously really good. If you know you're gonna be the kill target, binding shackles is really good. Because of the, you can do like a defensive binding shot, or a defensive knock trap, or a defensive scatter, and then take less damage. Not bad at all. But then again, if you are against something that isn't a Resto Druid, or you won't die, you can just go this for the mega CDR. So that's kind of something that you can do. Then over here we have a buff to Wilderness Medicine, which is this talent over here. So the reason why they did this is because marksmanship no longer has a pet, so they needed this talent to do at least something, right? Now, on paper, I think it might be one of those talents that is better than what it actually seems, because it's basically like a 50% buff to natural mending, because it's going to be 1.5 every 10 instead of 1. So, I mean, this might be a talent that is actually really, really good. But then again, on the other hand, the one thing you need to be really careful of whenever it comes to this talent is the fact that since you are the one that is dispelling your pet, if you're ever into like an Aphli Warlock or a Shadow Priest or a Elemental Shaman, you are the one that will receive the purge protection. So you will get horrified by the priest, you will get knocked up by the shaman, and you will take the backlash damage from the Affliction Warlock. And you will be silenced. Which is very annoying, because whenever you're silenced, you can't use Intimidation, Kill Command, Flanking Strikes, Roar of Sacrifice. It's just obnoxious, so just be careful of that, but it could be a talent that ends up being pretty decent, so that's something which is kind of cool, I guess. And then next up here we have a very random change. Now, when I saw this, I was like, what the fuck does that mean? But yeah, I just tested it from 40 yards away, and so it's just, this is now 0.3 seconds from here to there, instead of being 0.5, which, I mean, I guess, okay, sure, whatever. Now, this is maybe one of the biggest things by far in the entire patch. So this is not only Freezing Trap, this is for a lot of CCs. Note that this is not Scatter Shot. Scattershot did not get this. It will still break instantly, except for Explosive Shot and Kill Command. Don't ask why, but if you look here, so you can clearly see this will not break by either Kill Command or Explosive Shot. These are the only two spells. Before it was Wildfire Bomb as well that it didn't break Scatter, but now Bomb breaks Scatter, so that's kind of sad, but yeah, just know that Scatter now breaks instantly. So I did some testing, and basically, anything that is more than 3% of someone's max HP will break the trap. So this is things like a Wildfire Bomb will break your trap, Explosive Shot will break your trap, Raptor Strike will break your trap. However, a AoE bomb will not break your trap instantly, which is something. Since Wildfire Bomb does 80% more damage on the initial target, it seems like since the AoE one does less damage, it's not enough to break your own trap, which is cool. So now you can like trap. I don't know if this works against players. Okay, well, against players, this didn't break instantly. Like I swear to God, but and also you can now do like kill commands and stuff. Like this won't break your trap if you like melee swing them, do a kill command. Also, this is just a weapon enchant. Don't. In case you guys are wondering what this is, it's just a raid weapon, whatever. So if you see here, okay, I don't know. It seems like into these dummies they just break insta, but against players, they don't. So that's kind of cool. If I can open up my notepad again. So basically, you don't have to worry about like randomly breaking your CC anymore to like random stuff. Now they still will break, you know, if you like attack them. But maybe random things like bursting growth from like a feral druid won't break your trap anymore. Maybe if you like accidentally bomb someone, it will break by the dot eventually, but it's not gonna break instantly. So that's pretty nice. So overall, pretty good change. Kind of a big fan. Now there are some classes that have received this that I think is problematic. The one spell is Gouge. I think Gouge is this is, in my opinion, really bad. I think Blind is fine. Gouge, I think, is really, really toxic and bad for the game. In my opinion, I would like to see this being changed. But that's just me. I think every other spell is like fine. Let me see, what else is there? So I know it's like, let me see. Is that not how you... Hello? How do I... Hello? How is it being written then? Scattershot. Freezing trap. Is it being written differently for everything? What about any damage? Okay, so it's polymorph. And then it's freezing trap. It's imprison. Disorientating roar. This does not matter at all because disorientating roar had a threshold anyway. And then it's blinding light and repentance and paralysis. And then I guess rogues wanted to be special, and then they were the only ones that were written differently. Anyway, but yeah, those are the spells. I think it's only Gouge that is like the biggest issue here, but everything else is kind of fine. Then, on another thing that is kind of big, is you can now change your pet specialization. Whoa! So, you might have seen, I don't know if you have, but I have a raptor with bloodlust. Wow, how is that possible? It's because now you can talk to the stable master right here, or anyone, and then you can now change the specialization. So let's say I want to have a raptor be a tank pet. You could just do this, and then he has the tank pet ability. Whoa. Or if you want him to be like a freedom pet, he now has freedom again. Now I need to like do this to get it back, but ta-da! Now, the only really big thing that this is like you can now, you know, change the way that your pet looks if you're like really bored. So instead of like me recommending like a specific thing, you know, like you no longer need to have a raptor, hyena, or a rodent. The way that I'm gonna write it now is you need to have a cunning beast, a cunning undead, ferocity beast, tenacity beast, and then a tenacity undead. So this would look like something like this. Let me open up Petopia. I have it already open, never mind. So you need to have a mortal wounds pet. That is just besides the point. It's just the best pet by far. So any one of these pets you can have. So let's say you really want to have like a wasp. You know, this can be your dedicated tank pet if you really want to. Or you can give this guy freedom if you want to have a freedom pet. So this does not only have to be like a bloodlust pet anymore. So that's kind of cool. So for me, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have a beast with freedom, a undead with freedom. Now, the undead pets that you can have is the raptor. There is a undead raptor. One of these little guys, or maybe like one of these. Now, I might be tripping, but I'm pretty sure this guy is an undead. Or maybe not. Nah, he's a beast, actually. You know what? I'm actually tripping. I'm pretty sure the only one. Well, there's a devil's ore, actually, that is undead. Checkmate. So, yeah. Yeah, I actually checked. There is no other. Yeah, you can get a raptor or a devil's ore, I guess that is undead. So, I think it'll be good to have a undead raptor with a tank pet. And then to have a beast that is a beast that is tank pet as well. So the only reason why you want to have a beast pet is if you're into ret paladins, because they can stun undead pets with Wake of Ashes. So that is the only reason why. And then the reason why you want to have an undead pet is because they are immune to things like Imprison, Sap, Polymorph, and Hex, which, I mean, it does not really matter that much, but it's like sometimes it can matter into like mages or like rogues. They can like sap your pet in the opener, or maybe like polymorph your pet, etc., you know? So it's still good to have to mid-max. Seems like I have accidentally deleted my thing, which is kind of unfortunate. Can I like reload to get it back? If I can't, that's okay. Because that was I was pretty much done with my entire notepad. Okay, it's fine. The only other thing that I have written down is that you have now there's a new PvP talent, which is pretty exciting. Now you do have to remove Scattershot for it, which is maybe not worth it, but look what you can do. So, do I have War Mode on? I do. Okay, so basically, this will now act as a second disengage. So you can do like disengage into bursting shot. Damn! That's pretty fun. Is it useful? I don't know. It's pretty fun though. And then the only other change that really matters in the general thing over here is where's survival? Oh my god. Here. They have now removed, very, very sad, Eagle Eye. So now you no longer have Eagle Eye. You see I'm clicking it? It no longer exists. You only have / cast Eyes of the Beast. Yeah. Really useful spell. Very depressing. Anyway, let's go over the pack leader changes. So, basically what they have done to pack leader is they have fundamentally changed everything. So, everything is like completely different. No ability is the same. So, how it works is every 25 seconds, your kill command will now summon a beast. So, you see how I have this buff? So, you know, I basically have this buff. And then I will get a beast. So here I get a wyvern. Because the order is that you will first get a wyvern, then you will get a boar, and then you will get a bear. So the wyvern, it just gives you a damage increase. And then whenever your pet attacks, it goes up to 20. Then whenever you press bomb, you increase the duration by 2 seconds. And that's it. So it's just a damage increase. That is quite literally it. Then now I'm going to get the boar. So you can see how the boar looks. You basically just press the boar, like so, and then it like spawns in from like a random corner and then charges the enemy, and then it does damage. And whenever it does damage, your raptor strikes become AoE. Now, it's good to know that these AoE raptor strikes, they do not break CC, so don't worry about that. But the boar does break CC. Same thing with the bear. This bear comes in, breaks everything, and it applies a bleed and does a lot of damage. And then whenever you press Coordinated Assault, you get the next one, which will be a wyvern. So I press it, and then it does a thing. Now this one will be a boar, so I'm waiting. I will soon get a boar. I have a boar. I now have a boar. And now the boar will charge and it will do damage, and then the next one will be the bear. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. That's essentially how that works. Now you might ask, okay, but how good is this though? Like, I don't know. Here's the kind of the thing that I think. So the boar ticks 12 times. Now the reason why this is like important is because of this talent over here, which is whenever the boar, okay, whenever the bear does damage, it has a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of flanking strikes by 2 seconds, which to me seems kind of useless unless it's a AoE scenario, I guess. So, I don't know, it's a AoE talent, who cares? This, on the other hand, this is just a damage increase, pretty good, can't really complain, not bad. This is just, okay, ignore the Mongoose Fury, because you're not playing Mongoose Bite anyway, so this does not matter. And no, this talent does not make Mongoose Bite viable, that's all I'm saying. It just makes the Raptor AoE, which does not matter at all. So like, these two are kind of useless, who cares? This is just less CDR, this is just CDR. You get one more tip of despair, who cares? This talent is beyond useless, does not really do anything. This is extremely useless, does not do anything. This is kinda mid. This is genuinely a bad talent that you don't want to have, because imagine trying to binding shot trap someone, and then they get pulled towards the center, or God forbid there are multiple people, and then they all get pulled to the center, and then you can't trap. Really fun. And then I DC'd. Hello team, it's been 10 minutes, but the servers are back on. Okay, I do not remember where we were. Oh yeah, I was talking about this talent being bad. Right, so this talent sucks. This talent is like pretty okay. Nothing too crazy, but it's pretty good, I guess. And then this talent is just your pets do more damage whenever you have Coordinate Assault up. And also you get a guaranteed Howl of the Pack, which is actually pretty good. Now the reason why this is good is because let's say you have this one rolling. So now this will become a bear, right? Whenever you press Coordinate Assault, you will keep this buff, right? It just summons the bear. And then this one will become a wyvern, right? So you don't like lose out on like pressing Coordinate Assault halfway through of your Howl of the Pack buff, if that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? I think that makes any sense. I guess the only other thing that is like pretty good about this is the fact that your pet damage is increased by 30% actually. If you check the patch notes, it's actually supposed to be 30%, which is a pretty big buff to flanking strikes, I guess. Which, I mean, that's kind of cool, kinda. Any Hoosers, that is kind of it when it comes to pack leader. I'd say the Wyvern is probably like the most reliable, but it's kind of boring because it's just a damage increase. And then if your pet has a lot of uptime, it can stack up to 20. Whoa! So yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. And then the bear is also pretty reliable because it's just a lot of damage. It's like the bleed does decent chunk of damage, pretty good. The only bad thing is that it can break CC, but whatever, everything breaks CC anyway in this game. I also did check, and it seems like the bear dot, it kind of just breaks trap. Like eventually, not instantly, but eventually. So that's good to know. And then the boar is just kind of mid. Now the reason why the boar is kind of mid is because whenever I played with it, it just missed all the time. Because the boar spawns... I'm gonna get a bear, this is gonna be a wyvern. Okay, I can't really show right now, but wait one sec. Okay, this might not be the most easiest thing to illustrate, but the boar, it will charge someone from like a random direction and then walk in a straight line. So let's imagine that this target dummy, right, is walking. You know, it's like walking forward. Okay, so the boar will then, let's say the boar spawns over here, and then it's going to go through a straight line. If you're just walking like this, the boar will spawn and just walk past you, and then it just misses. Or if you're walking in a straight line, and then the boar spawns, I don't know, here, and then it's supposed to go up like this, it just goes up and then it misses you because you're like moving. So the boar is not like a heat-seeking missile or anything, you know? So the boar can definitely miss. And also it breaks legit everything. Like the best thing about the boar is if someone is next to a pillar, like this, and then if the boar, let's say it's programmed to charge from like this direction, so it's supposed to like go through you like this, it will just spawn next to the wall and like do its shit insta. So I guess if someone is stuck into a corner and you press, I guess then it's like okay, half of the time, but I don't know. At least when I played, I was like losing my mind. I was like, oh yeah, I got a boar. Oh wait, my target was moving forward, and then my boar just broke everything. Okay. And not only did it break everything, it just missed, and it didn't really do anything. And it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Really awesome. I guess the one thing that's pretty good about it is the fact that the AoE Raptor Strike you get doesn't really break CC, but that's kind of pointless, I guess, because the boar will never hit. So therefore, GG. I don't know. Overall, I would say that Pack Leader, I'm predicting it's not going to be that good for PvP, in my opinion. I think it relies too much on uptime to be good, and too much of it is AoE. Now, but what I mean by that is like, you need to get a lot of value from this thing for it to work, right? So you need to press Raptor Strike and Kill Command a lot to get the cooldown of your Howl of the Pack lower. So you see this thing? You know, whenever I press Kill Command, the Raptor Strike, it goes down. So in my opinion, I think it relies too much on having uptime, especially pressing Kill Command for it to be like that good. Now, I think maybe you could make the argument that it would be a lot better if it was maybe something like Wildfire Bomb or Explosive Shot or Flanking Strikes, because these abilities you actually press a lot. Whereas Kill Command, the Raptor Strike, now you do press Kill Command a lot, but the Raptor Strike is not really like an ability that you press too often because it's kind of low on the priority list. So, in my opinion, I am predicting I don't think it will be that good. That is just me though. I could be wrong, but I think that Sentinel will be a lot better. And then speaking of Sentinel, you might be like, what have they done to Sentinel? Well, if you guys read the patch notes, kind of the only thing that they've done is everything is based to Lunar Storm. So it does more damage, the radius is bigger, the duration, it's also bigger. Now this is a 50% increase. I don't know why it says 12, I mean it is, because 50% of this is 4. But why didn't they word the flare thing the same way? Because that's also 50%. But basically, it's massive. It is huge. And it also follows the target roughly around the same as like a backpedaling RP walk. In case you guys are wondering like how fast it follows the target. So let me show you how big it is. Because I was genuinely baffled when I saw how big Sentinel is right now. And note, again, the only change is with Lunar Storm. So the changes that have been made is it is now bigger, the radius is increased, the duration is also increased, but then they also made it so it only spawns every 30 instead of 15. Now, I thought that this would be a really, really big nerf, but in reality, it's not really that big of a deal, because the downtime is very low, and from the games that I played, you get more damage out of the Lunar Storm anyway, because the radius is so much bigger, and it actually like follows the target, at least a little bit. And also because it lasts way longer. So overall, I think that even though the CD is twice as big, you will get more damage out of Lunar Storm compared to before. And note that this does not break CC, which is kind of nice. But let me show you how big it is. Hello? It's like, look at this, and then it like slowly follows them, kind of like this speed. It's so cool. I'm a big fan. I'm actually a massive fan from this. It's also easier to track. You don't need like a week or anything like that. So, but then also Sentinel has like all the other things that makes Sentinel really good. You know, the damage increase here, the damage increase from this thing, the 45-second CD on coordinated assault, the root shit. The only thing that's kind of sad is the fact that you will miss out on the damage from this, since you will no longer go Butchery, and since you will go Flanking Strikes. But that's kind of it. So, in my prediction, I think that Pack Leader is kind of bad in PvP, and I think that Sentinel will be better. Then for the survival changes, they didn't really do that much. I mean, you can look at the changes and be like, wow, that's a lot of things, if you look here, right? Like, it seems like a lot, but the only real thing that will like change the way that you play is that you will no longer have Butchery, Flanking strikes does more damage, and then it applies the bleed that Butchery applied. So if you see here, right? Bam. And now applies Merciless Blow. Everything else is kind of pointless. Like, that's legit almost kind of the only thing that really matters. And the bleed does a lot of damage. Because if you look here, what have they added? They added this talent, which is useless. And then they added this talent, which is also... It's not bad, but it's because you need to use 2 talent points to get it. That's why it's bad. So you don't have anything to drop, ever. Like, I've never had a talent build be so cookie cutter. It is insane. There is legit nothing that you can change here. Every talent that you're missing out on is just bad. So it's like, fine. The only thing that you could do is to drop Deadly Duo, Spearhead, Killer Companion to play Fury of the Eagle. Now, this will mainly be in matchups where you may be against like a H Paladin that can just bop the Spearhead. Maybe into a Hunter that can just Roar of Sacrifice the Spearhead. Maybe you are playing with a class that you know will, like, I don't know, just remove your Spearhead. Like, maybe you're playing with a Paladin or a Mage. The Paladin, like, will just blind off your Spearhead, or the Mage will sheep off your Spearhead. I mean, you know, anything can happen in a shuffle department, you know? Like, I feel like anything can happen. So, in those games, I think it's fine, acceptable to go Fury of the Eagle because of the extra damage that it brings, and also the haste that you get, which is pretty good. So, it's for sure a viable option to go Fury of the Eagle, actually. But other than that, I think you would just go Spearhead, especially now because Spearhead is buffed. So before, it actually did not affect your pet attacks, but now it does. Here... Is it here? It's here. So Spearhead and Deadly Duo will now benefit your pet abilities and attacks. Whoa. Kinda cool. So that's just like a flat damage increase to Spearhead and Deadly Duo, I guess. And then, other than that, it's just, you have a tier set. Now, the thing about the tier set is the fact that your 2 set is, like, okay. So, if you look at it, note that this is nerfed in half in PvP. Now, I don't know what 3%, like, are they gonna do 1.5 or 2%? I actually don't know. I haven't really checked. I guess I can check it out right now, actually. Hello, team. Okay, so I've been in queue for 10 minutes for a skirmish, so I guess... we can pretend like it's going to be either 2%, 1.5, or 1%, because it's nerfed in half in PvP. I think maybe, I don't know. We'll see. The 2 set is kind of like okay, nothing like super crit. It's just more bomb damage, I guess, that stacks up randomly. It's the winning streak effect is just so bad that it's just not worth having, because you need to get so much crit gear. Like, this is crit prio, and then this is crit not prio, and then this is, I guess, haze verse. So it's like, I guess you'll play like either shoulder chest, and then you go with like engineering helm with mastery, that you can do. Or you can have, this can be shoulder and then head, and then your chest can be, I don't know, maybe like haste mastery, depending on how much versa you get from your other stats, I guess. So I'm not like entirely sure on what I'll do when it comes to gearing and everything, but stat-wise, it's going to be the exact same as before. I'm most likely going to go for like 1.20 GCD. Maybe. So that's like 24.48% haste. And then after that, maybe like 15 to 20% versa, not entirely sure. And then everything else will just be like mastery. So those are going to be my stats. And I think that is it when it comes to things. So in case there's anything that I haven't brought up, I guess they also nerfed Diamond Eyes, which doesn't really matter, but that's like something, I guess. Right. Those are kind of my thoughts on the survival changes for the next patch. Overall, I can't necessarily say if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. My prediction is that it's going to be a good thing, because basically what Blizzard wanted to do is to just buff our, or like have the damage stay the same, but then remove one button. So if our damage is the same, but they removed butchery, then overall that will be like a positive thing, because now it's going to be like easier and faster to do your rotation. Obviously your cleave damage is going to be a lot less because they're removing butchery, since you can't really pick it anymore. I mean, you can, but like I think flanking strikes is a lot better. So yeah, that's. I mean, I'm sure there are some matchups where you can take butchery, but usually for the most part, I would think that it's better to just be flanking strikes straight up. But yeah, okay, those are my thoughts. I kind of wanted to keep this below 30 minutes, so I guess we kind of have reached 30 minutes right now. So if there's anything that I missed, you can just feel free to ask in the comments down below, and I will answer them. Alright, cool. Alright, okay, take care. Love you guys. Peace out. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.